Hello everyone, welcome to Learn and Share channel. I'm back and guess what? Today I am coming up with a new topic that is OOP concepts. I know being a computer science student, everyone is very curious about this concept. Uh, Being a computer science student, I'm also worried about these concepts when I was in that standard. And yeah, these concepts are pretty much difficult at that time, but now no need to worry about that. I am here to explain you these concepts with the real world examples and with a simple language so you can relate these concepts with more clearly and with a real world examples. So let's get started. Okay, first of all, you need to know that what is class. Class is basically, let me read for you. Class is like a template and blueprint plan that we can use it by making its objects and instance. I don't think so that makes sense for you it now. So let me explain you clearer. See guys, class is something where you can put all the related things that are coming up, so you can put it in the same class. For example, I have example like this, that these all objects are belong to one class. As you can see, the knife, the cutting board, the plates, the cutter, the bowls, towers, all things are belong to one class. That these little things are called objects in OOP language. So we can put it inside the one class, that this class is known as kitchen class. Okay, so you can relate it. Let me tell you again that class is a place where you can relate, where you can put all the related objects in one place. So this place, this template is known as class. Hope this is clear to you. Okay, now let me show you its graphical representation. As you can see, there are two diagrams. In the left side there is a box. As you can see more clearly that in the above portion you can write the name of the class, like in our case it is kitchen class, and you can write the attributes. Okay, now what is the attributes? So you can see that in the right side I have also showed an example. For example, class name is person. Attributes are the properties, like the person has name, age, gender. Okay, and operations like the behavior of an object, means the behavior of a person, like eat, walk. Obviously a person can eat, a person can walk, or a person can sing, dance, whatever. Okay, so in the above portion, first we write a class name. Is it clear? Then we write its properties, and then we write its operation, means the methods that is the behaviorally adopted. Okay, this is all about the class. Now next. Okay, now the main core and the thing where the students are more stuck on this concept, but yeah, on the other hand it is very important concept. What is inheritance? Let me read it first. The relationship between a parent class and a child class, so that child class can access the characteristics of its parent class, is called inheritance. I know it's really easy, it's really easy. Let me explain you in my language. See, if a baby birth, so he can adopt some features of its parent, right? So in OOP language we say that the parent or a mother is a parent class, and a baby or a baby, you understand that this is a child class. Or we can also say is that it is a subclass, a base class or a parent class, or we can say a subclass or a child class. Okay, so child class can inherit the parent class. Okay, so what we do, that a child class can access some properties, some characteristic of its parent class. So this relation is called what? Inheritance. And yeah, and it's just a theoretical concept that this relation is known as is a kind of relation. For example, that child, like Alia is a daughter of Amna. Does it make sense that subclass Alia is belongs to is a, okay, daughter of a Amna. Okay, means there Alia is a subclass and Amna is a parent class. I know it's easy. Hope you understand. Okay, let me give you an example so you can revise it more clearly. For example, here is a man. Okay, here is a person. Let's say a person has a property of or a behavior of eat and walk, right? Now we have a student we have a teacher, and we have a doctor. So a person is a main class, is a parent class, and three classes that is extends to it. This is a subclasses. One is doctor, another is teacher, and the third one is doctor. So what we do, we know that a person can eat and walk, right? And we see that these two what we say, that these two behaviors are also identical in their subclasses, right? Means student and teacher and doctor also eat and walk. So actually inheritance, what does it, does that it reusable the code. Okay, if I don't use inheritance, so I have to write each code again and again, right? I have to write each code, walk function. This is called the function parameter, or it's called a method. I'll talk you later about this in our coding section. So okay, so eat and walk are also belongs to, are inherited, means a person eat and walk. So doctor inherit these behaviors with the person, so it cannot write the code and again. Obviously he's a human being, he is a person too. If he's a doctor, so it's a person too, and he is also doing these kind of characteristics. Okay, I know this taking more like complicated for you as of now, but I am damn sure that you are clear about it when we are going to the coding section. So don't worry about it, just you have to understand that there is a relationship between the subclasses. Oh sorry, there is a relationship between the parent class with its subclass, okay, or a subclass with parent class. Okay, till that now I think you can understand. Okay, now there are some types of inheritance. Okay, so number one is single inheritance. That means that two classes, we have one parent class and one subclasses. Okay, in multi-level inheritance we have a level of, like we have one parent class, but B is a subclass of A. Now we have another class that is a subclass for, yes, that is a subclass for B. Okay, now another is hierarchical inheritance, that we have one subclass, we have one parent class and we have two subclasses, means that B is also a subclass of A and C is also a subclass of A. It's just like that one parent has two children. Okay, girl or boy, whatever. Okay, now here is a section that is, problem. There is a problem in inheritance. Now what's that? This is called multiple inheritance. Now I'm telling about the problem. For example, I have a mermaid. Okay, as you can see, a mermaid has an operation of eat. Now it wants to, it is a parent class, let's suppose. Now here is, it has two child, for example fish or a woman. Okay, now here is a confusion that a subclass means that okay, problem in inheritance is that it's a reverse of the another that we are discussed just now, that here we have two parent classes like fish and woman. Now mermaid is confused that which eat operation it takes from which class, which parent class. Like mermaid has eat, now it confuses that whether it takes eat from its fish parent class or from its woman parent class. So here I wrote that which eat operation mermaid inherits. This is a multiple inheritance that we are sorted later in when we are talking about the interfaces. Okay, so hope you clear about this. Now let's move to the coding section, which is really easy, and I'm coding in Java. Okay, now what is inheritance? Here as I see the relationship between the subclass and its parent class. Here we see that we have a class that is a teacher. We just made some attributes, designation and college name of a teacher, and we also made a function. See, we can use a function also in a class. So we write a function like void. Does void means that it returns nothing. System.out.println means that, when you learn C in your first standard maybe, so you write printf. It's just like printf. Okay, so it just prints teaching. Now the new thing, okay, the thing that is to be understand. Now look carefully. Okay, now another class that is public, name physics teacher, it extends teacher. What does that mean? Acha, here extends needs extends is used to inherit. Okay, to inheritance purpose. Now extends means that a subclass physics teacher is inherit the parent class that is teacher. Hope makes sense. Okay, now it has also an attribute. Now when we make an object or instance, we always do in a main class. So here, sorry, in a main function. So here is a main function, public static void main, and we have to pass an argument. This is the, you have to write this line. So this is a main function. Okay, so we first create a object of a subclass, because we want to, as you know that I am already repeating this line, that a subclass can has access the characteristics of its parent class. Now let's check it. Now let's prove it. We just make a object or instance of a subclass and try to access that function, void does function, and let's see that is it accessible or not. So what we did, we don't make a teacher object, we just make a subclass object, that is physics teacher. Okay, now as you can see, here's two things. We make an object is called a copy of constructor, of copy of class. Okay, so we make a physics teacher object when we write till this, so we just copy a class physics teacher. Then if we write new physics teacher, then we make an instance. Now what is difference between object and instance? Here's a question. See, object is a copy of a class, while instance is a variable that have the address, memory location of that object. Okay, is it clear? Now what I did, I just using this object, I make an attribute name of a parent class, then designation, then this. Now you can see I just make a function does by using its main class, by using its main class. Okay, means in main class I use object dot does. See, this is an object of a subclass, but the function belongs to the parent class. Yes, so I just adopt this function using subclass. Now let me execute this so you can run clearly. See, beginner's book, teacher, and physics. Now physics is only belongs to the subclass, so it gives, but see, beginner book and teacher also showed up because we inherit the physics teacher with a teacher and teaching. See, this function is also executing. Okay, so we have another thing. Okay, when we inherit these things, when we inherit two classes, it's a default constructor also inherit. But what about if we have a parameterized constructor? So we use a super keyword to access this default parameterized constructor. Okay, now what is constructor? Constructor is basically a name of the class, like we do this super class int age, but we find an parameterized, so it's called a parameterized constructor. Okay, when we make an instance of a class, its default constructor is called by default. Okay, default constructor means having no constructor having no parameter. Okay, so it is a parameterized constructor. Now in a super class, we have a one function, get age. Now as we did before, we have a subclass that extends with the parent class superclass. Now see, here's the thing. In subclass we have a constructor that is named subclass, but it has a parameterized constructor, and we don't want to write a code again and again. So just we want to access that coding, that parameterized constructor, from a parent class to the subclass. So we just pass it on and we write super keyword. See, this is super easy. So we write super, right? Super, and we parameterize. It consists of a parameterize, so we just pass a variable. Now in main function, we, as usual, we make an instance of a subclass and pass a parameter. See, as I showed you before, that when we make an instance, it is a default constructor, we don't write it over here. But we have a parameterized constructor, we have to pass a value. Which value? Like we have to pass an integer age. So we want to pass an integer value, and we get an get age function from a parent class. Now execute it. See, it gives the value superclass is 24. So hope you understand. Now it's just related with, again, now in the previous code we talk about the parameterized constructor. Now what about if the parameterized function? So see, this is simple. We have a parameterized function in our main class. Now in subclass we want to we don't want to write a whole function from a parent class, so we just want to access using super keyword. Like before, we use a super and that that parameterize, and then we have to write in here, we have to write super dot the function name and then its parameter. Now it's super easy. Now you can see in main function I don't write we have a default constructor because we have default constructor. Now when I call the function, then we pass this, then we pass this what to say, then we have to pass the parameter. Okay, so let's execute it. See, the value of radius is 0. Now I'm saying the value of radius is 0. Why it comes to 0? Because its radius is 0, because we have first we have initialized it int radius is equals to 0, so it gives radius equals to 0. Wow. But once I execute it, now you see, hang on, so see, the value of radius equals 0 because in the main class, as I say in the main class, the what constructor is called first? The to constructors. Okay, the value of radius is equals to, let's suppose I am right over here 5 and I re-execute it. See, now because in main class because in the parent class I write get radius, first it creates this one method, then it creates this one method. So first it calls the parent class method, then it calls the what function? Subclass method. Okay, so this is all about my first video. Please rate, comment and share about it, and please do comment so I can get the idea that whether you like my video, or if you have any little or small query about these concepts until I just clear one concept, make you clear one concept, that is inheritance. Please do let me know if you have any query about it. So yeah, this is it, and see you in a next tutorial. Until keep learn and share.